Hey, what's up? Adam Chandler here in Colorado, and in this training video, I'm gonna introduce you to a training video that I shot a few days ago in just a minute, where I actually shot this video to put on my team training website. One of my mentors a while back taught me to start inoculating my team members, telling my team members what was to come, sharing with them the good, the bad, and the ugly of what was to come on their way to success in the network marketing industry. And if your goal is to create a six figure business, a seven figure business, these things are inevitably going to happen. And if you expose your team members to some of those things as an inoculation or a vaccination, then you can improve their chances of success, because these are the things that normally take 97% of network marketers out of the game when these things start to happen. So if you can let your brand new team members know some of the things, the good, the bad, and the ugly, that are to come, then when those things inevitably do come up, those roadblocks and those challenges come up for your people, they'll be more prepared to handle it mentally, and they'll see it as an inevitable stepping stone to success, rather than see it as something that, oh, there must be something wrong with me, or something wrong with the system, or the company, or the business model. And they'll just see it as a stepping stone to success, and they'll trust you more, and you'll have built a better relationship with your team member because you told them what was to come, and what, some of the negative things that they might experience, like deception. People showing up, people saying they're going to watch your presentation and not watching it. People saying they're going to join your team at, Friday at 2 o'clock, and then they drop off the face of the earth, never to be seen again. In attrition, people inevitably, quitting the business, not taking things like that personally. I'm going to share those things, and I'm going to share some of the ways that I have dealt with those things on my journey to success in network marketing. And you can take this information, it'll help you. If you pass it on to your team, it'll help them. But this is just one of the training videos that we have on our team website. And if you want to see some of the other trainings that we offer on our team website, and kind of how we improve our team retention, and give much more chance of duplication, and really improve our duplication on our team, you're gonna see that, and you can learn how to apply some of these principles to increase your own team member retention, and increase their duplication, so that they have the best advantage of building a successful organization, which of course is going to skyrocket your commission check in this industry. So anytime during the video, you can click the link down below to access that training. It's on Facebook. It's a Facebook application, so you're gonna have to be logged into Facebook to do it. But I hope you enjoy the training. That's it for me for right now. Through the power of editing, I'm gonna take you into my computer screen right now, and show you this team inoculation training. And then at the end, you can go down, click the link below the video for more free training on improving your team retention and duplication to build your residual check in this industry. We'll see you in just a second. Hello and welcome to this video, where we are going to be talking about inoculations. An inoculation, or a vaccination, is basically a dose of what's to come. What you can expect in this industry. I'm going to be going over in this video 4 things to expect on your way to making 6 figures in network marketing. These are things that I really wish that I had been exposed to these things when I first started in network marketing, because when I encountered them, rather than thinking, oh, what's wrong with me that I'm encountering these things, if I would have known that these were things that were to be expected, then I would have handled them a little bit differently. You know, I wouldn't have taken them personally. You know, when I encountered these problems, and I'm gonna actually share some personal stories, some things that I've actually encountered in my own business, in my own journey to six figures in the network marketing industry, which you know, and you know, share things that have happened to me in my experience to better prepare and equip you for what's to come in this industry. So these are landmines, you know, inoculations or the vaccinations, the four things that we're going to be talking about. These are the landmines that take people out of the game and cause them to quit. There's really only a handful of them, and a lot of these things were actually explained to me, well, from a few different mentors actually over the past, you know, couple of years. I've been in network marketing for over 4 years now, but over the past couple of years, I've been kind of explained these things by a guy named Tim Sales. I was at an internet marketing event, it was a marketing event in Las Vegas called No Excuses, and Tim Sales, who's one of the biggest names in network marketing, shared these things, and he basically said that before he got involved in network marketing, he was actually an underwater bomb diffuser. So that was his job. He worked for the military, and he would diffuse bombs underwater. And he, you know, jokingly said that, you know, people say that network marketing is hard. You know, compared to what he did, network marketing is a, you know, total cakewalk. Compared to diffusing bombs, and you know, he kind of made a joke about that. But he talked about these four things, and before he joined his first network marketing company, he got with his sponsor, the person that was to sponsor him at the time, and he said, "Tell me all the bad things. You know, tell me what, you know, what are, you know, the things that, you know, could possibly happen that are bad. I want the good, the bad, and the ugly." And you know, these were some of the things that he mentioned. The only way to fail in network marketing is to quit. If you watch the slight edge training that we have on this website, it's Jake Kevorkian, one of the founders of Numis, talking about the slight edge principle. So watch that video, and he actually says in there, and I've heard Jake say this a few times on stage, is that the only way to fail in network marketing is to quit. So you know, your emotions and how you interpret those emotions will determine your future. You know, if you look in your Numis back office, you'll see a profile of a champion under books and CDs. George Zaluki, Profile of a Champion, where George says, and you know, very successful network marketer. He actually says that your emotions are going to be the only reason that you'll fail in network marketing is because of your emotions and how you interpret those emotions. And then, you know, that made me think of a Bob Proctor quote, which is, "Life is 10% about what happens to you and 90% about how you react to those things." So it's not so much about what happens to you on the journey. It's about how you handle those situations, and if you allow your mind and your emotions to take you out of the game, basically. So let's get right into number one. Number one is rejection. You know, this is something that, you know, in any sales environment, rejection it's inevitable. You know, people are going to tell you no. In fact, I can, you know, absolutely say with complete confidence that the more people that you get to tell you no, the more successful you're going to be, because trying to do this business and trying to avoid the no's, it's just you're gonna avoid the yeses. Is straight up the way it is. If you go out there and try to avoid the no's, you will be avoiding the yeses at the same time, and you won't make any money. Period. Okay, so embrace the no's. You know, if somebody tells you no, that's good. We get paid in this business to collect decisions. Doesn't matter whether that decision is a yes or a no. It's we get paid to collect a decision, and when if you can just accept that as the way it is, and understand the fact that each no that you hear brings you closer to a yes, and it's actually a good thing when somebody tells you no, because you can cross them off your list and you can move on to the next person. It's good when somebody tells you no, because then you can be done with that person. You can ask them for referrals, and you can move on to the next person. I would much rather have somebody tell me no than tell me maybe, because maybe just leaves the door open, and what does that even mean? It basically means that they can't create a decision. And a lot of times, if somebody tells you maybe, you're going to have to make that decision for them. And don't be afraid to tell people, look, maybe the time isn't right for you right now. They'll respect you more for saying that. Maybe the timing isn't right for you right now. I'm dead serious about this business. I'm looking for people that are dead serious, that are able to make a serious decision here. So, I wish you the best in all that you do. Have a great day. I gotta go, and then move on to the next person. So people will tell you no. Accept it. Don't fight it. Don't take it personally. Definitely don't take it personally, because it says a lot more about them and where they're at in their life than it ever says about you. Okay, so do not internalize it. Do not take it personally. Now this is something that I learned from Jerry Clark. I'm going to be sharing a couple things I learned from Mr. Jerry Clark, a very successful network marketer. He's actually the personal mentor to Ray Higdon, who's the #1 income earner in Numis. So Jerry Clark is Ray's mentor, and Ray is my mentor. So so this came from a high achievement network marketing CD series. It was an audio series put out by Jerry Clark, and he talks about being on the ledge of a pier. So you're on the ledge of a pier, and there are people drowning. So picture you're on the ledge of this pier, and there's a bunch of people down in the water below the pier, and they're drowning. And they're saying, help me, help me, help me. And you've got a life preserver. You've got a life raft in your hand. And they're saying, help me, help me. You throw the life preserver out to the first person, and if they reject it, if they don't want it, what are you going to do? Are you going to say, come on, please take it? I mean, are you going to do that? Are you going to say, are you going to argue with them? Are you going to say, come on, you need this, take it? If they don't want it, what are you going to do? You're going to pull it in, and you're going to throw it out to the next person, right? So a lot of people in network marketing, they think like, oh, this person is going to be fantastic. They're going to be a superstar. If I could only get this one person in, then all my money problems would be solved, and my business would take care of itself. So when that person says no, they take it personally. They internalize it. They argue. They say, "Oh, come on, won't you please take it?" But you don't want to do that. You gotta reel the life preserver in, reel the life raft in, and throw it to the next person. Because you guys, there's people out there that are drowning financially, emotionally, all kinds of ways. People are drowning. But a lot of times people won't take your life raft or your life preserver because they're too proud. They because of their own hangups and their own issues and their own pride. And unfortunately, those people are going to drown. They're going to continue to drown unless they change some things about themselves and how they see the world. They're going to drown, and it's our job to expose more people so that we can actually find the people that are actually looking for solutions and looking for answers, because those people are out there. So don't go after just the people that need this opportunity. Go after the people that want it and that desire it and that have the burning desire to change their life. Okay, so number 2 is deception. People will deceive you in this business. People are going to do one thing, and they're going to tell you they're going to tell you one thing, and they're going to do something else. There's going to be an incongruency between what they speak and what they do. And that is a lack of integrity. That shows a lack of integrity. So and you know, you want to find people that have integrity. You know, so finding people that you know will be congruent between their words and their actions. Those are the people that you want to work with. But you're gonna find the people that are not congruent, that are they're gonna deceive you. They're gonna tell you that they're gonna watch the presentation. Then when you call them back, oh, you know, I didn't have time to watch it. I was too busy, you know, trimming my mustache, or feeding my goldfish, or any excuse that they're going to give you as to why they didn't have the time to watch the presentation. You know, they're going to give it to you. You know, one quick lesson that I'll teach you right now is you know, if somebody says that they're going to watch it, pay attention to how they say it. So, like for example, if I'm cold calling a real estate professional, and I say, hey, are you open to taking a look at an opportunity if it didn't interfere with what you're currently doing? And they say, yeah, sure, I guess I'll take a look at it. You know, call them on that and say, well, you know, let me ask you this: are you telling me that just to blow me off? Are you telling me you'll take a look at it just to blow me off, or are you actually serious about taking a look at something that has the potential to change your life? Because I'm a professional and I treat this business very seriously. If you're not open to taking a look at it, then just let me know. We'll save each other some time. And a lot of times people, especially professional people like that, will respect you more for it, and then they'll either say, no, you're right, I'm not really open, I'm not really serious, and you say, all right, have a great day. But you might actually get them to say, yeah, I am serious. I really want to take a look at it. And then you can say, okay, when will you have it? How soon will you have a chance to take a look at the information? When can we schedule a solid follow-up call? And then you can even go a step further and say, will you do me the professional courtesy of telling me that if for whatever reason, let's say we set a time to talk at 4 p.m. on Tuesday. Can you do me the professional courtesy of if for whatever reason you can't make it to our follow-up appointment at 4 on Tuesday, that you could either give me a call, or at least a text message or an email telling me that we have to reschedule so I can prioritize my time and put somebody else in that time slot. And those people that are professionals are going to say, wow, I'm dealing with a professional here. And and they'll respect you more for it, and then they'll tell you. And that way if 4 on Tuesday rolls around and you call them, that they have a congruency issue, they have an integrity issue, because you told them that and they still didn't do it. They said one thing and they did something else. Cross them off the list and move on. Okay. So they're going to tell you they'll watch your presentation, then they won't do it. They'll tell you that they're going to join, and then they'll drop off the face of the planet. Don't take it personally. I've had this happen to me several times. I'm not even sure exactly how many times I've had people that said, "Yeah, I'm going to join on Tuesday. Yeah, I'm going to join on Friday," and then you call them and they're nowhere to be found. They drop off the face of the earth. It happens. Rather than them having the courage to actually say, you know what, I thought about it, and I don't know if the timing is really right for me right now. They're just going to ignore your phone calls because they think that it's easier for them to do. Don't take that stuff personal. It says a lot more about them than it does about you. Okay, so don't take it personally. Understand that it's just part of the game that we're in. Okay, people are going to tell you one thing, they're going to do something else. And now I'll also say this: if you want less people to deceive you, stop deceiving yourself. Be more of a person of integrity yourself, and you'll attract more people of integrity. When you speak something, do it. If you say that you're going to do something, do it. If you set a goal to do something, then your word becomes your bond, and you're going to do it no matter what. Follow through with your word, and you will attract others who will follow through with theirs. But even when you do that, people are still going to deceive you. So just accept it as reality of the situation. Okay. Okay. Number 3 is attrition. Attrition is, here in network marketing, people talk about retention and attrition. Retention is, keeping people intact. Attrition is when people quit. People leave. People are going to quit your team. Period. If you build a big team, if your goal is to build a big team, people are going to quit. Okay, it's inevitable. Just accept it. Don't take it personally. And again, it says a lot more about them than it does about you. Um, and we have incredible team training here. This site that we've put together, it's got so much great information to plug your new team members in. We've got fast start training, getting started training. We've got warm market training. We've got cold market training. We've got Facebook training. We've got all this great stuff in place right here on this site. And we've got all these things that will give your team members a major leg up, something that 99.9% of network marketers out there will not have. So be proud of that. Be proud to plug people into this team, because we have put something together here that is rare in the network marketing industry for our team. But still, people are going to quit. People are still going to quit. Accept it as reality. It's just, if you go out trying to avoid that, or if you take it personally and you think that has anything to do with you, again, it says a lot more about them and where they're at than it does about you. And there's a certain one thing that's awesome about the network marketing industry is there's a certain level of personal responsibility involved. Because of the fact that there is you could say that one of the major advantages to network marketing is the fact that the startup costs are low. $500, $1,500, a couple $1,000 to get started in a business venture. Startup costs are low compared to, say, a franchise business. Or a brick and mortar business model where you've got to put hundreds of thousands of dollars just to get it going, or real estate deals where you need hundreds of thousands of dollars just to get it going. The startup costs are low, but because the startup costs are low, commitment is also low. Okay, so people can get started in a network marketing opportunity for a few $100s or a few $1,000s, and when reality sets in that this is a real business that takes real work, and if I want to go from making $40,000 a year to $40,000 a month, or whatever your goal is, I'm going to have to get out of my comfort zone. I'm going to have to learn some new skills. I'm going to have to really commit to this business. A lot of people, they say, well, I'm only in, I'm only in for a few $100s. It's easy to say, oh, it's easy to just back out and say, I'm only out a few $100s because I wasn't willing to put in the work and learn the skills necessary to make this business work. So they quit. Whereas if you have like a business where the startup costs are high, like a franchise where you have to pay a couple $100,000 or $1 million, it's a little harder to just walk away from something like that, right? So it's kind of a pro and a con at the same time of network marketing. But because of the fact that the entry is low, the barriers of entry are low, it gives the average person the opportunity to create something amazing, create this amazing financial legacy, but people are still not going to do it. It gives the opportunity to create this amazing financial legacy if they're willing to commit and learn the skills and be persistent and take the time to learn it and commit to it. And some people just aren't going to do that. So accept the fact that people are going to quit. And if you go out to build a large team and to create your own financial legacy, people will quit for whatever reason. It says a lot more about them than it does about you, so don't take it personally. Okay? Oh yeah, and the one last thing that I want to say, keep sponsoring, and the cream will rise to the top. So you might sponsor a few people that quit or that don't do anything, but if you just keep sponsoring and you keep leading by example and sponsoring, your team members will continue. Your team members are going to do what you do. So as long as you keep bringing people in and sponsoring and exposing people, your team members are going to do that as well, and they're going to see you doing that, and they're going to follow you, and the cream will rise to the top. The people that have the desire will succeed in this business, and the cream will rise to the top. Tim Sales, the guy that I mentioned at the beginning of this video, actually said that in his number one person of all time, the person that he sponsored that built the largest team that had the most success of all time, was a single mother who had nothing more than a burning desire to change her financial life for her family. They weren't some superstar. They didn't have prior experience in network marketing. You're looking for desire, because that's what it takes. Okay, you're looking for somebody that has a burning desire to change the quality of their life, and those are going to be the people that are going to rise to the top and really do something with this. So number 4 is disrespect. Now this is kind of a tough one, because a lot of times this will come from the people that are close to you. Doesn't really matter all that much if somebody says something about you, or somebody disrespects you who you've never met, who you don't have much of a relationship with. This disrespect is most likely, unfortunately, going to come from people that are close to you, from your warm market, from your friends, your family members, and it can hurt. It can hurt when this stuff happens. And I can tell you that is from personal experience that I've experienced this, and a lot of the top leaders in the industry have experienced this with people, in their own warm market, in their own inner circle, their family and their friends. So I'm gonna reference Jerry Clark again, because he talks about leaving the herd. So you're in like a pasture. So and when you leave the pasture, so there are all these cows in the pasture, and they're saying, they're saying, oh go to school, get a good job, save for retirement, all these things that are the kind of mantra of the cows. They'll say those things never work out. They'll say, don't, why are you wasting your time doing that? When you leave the herd, they get a little nervous that you are leaving the herd because of, again, what it says about them, about them and what they're doing or what they're not doing with their life. So they leave the herd, they leave the comfort of the pasture to enter into the jungle. And on the other side of the jungle is the promised land. But you have to go through the jungle to get to the promised land. And when you're going through the jungle, you're going to get some bumps, you're going to get some bruises, you're going to get some scrapes, you're going to experience some frustration, some pain. But then you're going to, as you go through this jungle, you're going to find other people that are going through the jungle as well, on their way to the promised land, and you'll be encouraged by that, and you'll help each other along. And it's this great environment, and you develop this thick skin. And he talks about becoming a rhino, and Jerry Clark, Jerry D. Rhino Clark, talks about developing this thick skin and becoming a rhino, and then entering the promised land. But it only happens when you go through the jungle, so people are going to make fun of you when you leave the herd. They're gonna talk behind your back to the other cows, and some may even lie to make themselves feel better about themselves. I actually had a good friend of mine who he would say things to other friends of mine, and some of it was just kind of lighthearted, jokingly stuff. But then when he was kind of upset about his own situation in life, and I was an easy target, he actually made up some stuff, to tell our other friends about me and what I was doing, and how I was scamming people and all this stuff. And it was nothing more than to make him feel better about his own crappy position in life, honestly. And it's tough when those things happen, because those things will happen. They'll come from the people that are close to you. And if that had happened maybe a little earlier on, it would have been but it would have been tough for me to deal with. But I'd gone through a lot of personal development at that point. When that happened, my belief was risen to the point where I'm like, no, I'm not going to accept that. I'm I'm not gonna lower myself to that level either. I'm just going to, continue on my mission. I'm going to continue. I believe in what I'm doing. I'm gonna move forward, with conviction, because I believe that I'm helping people. I'm helping people take control of their financial lives, creating assets in their lives. I'm not gonna, deal with those things, because that says a lot more about that person than it ever will about me and what I'm doing. And people are going to, people that, when you leave that herd, the comfort of the herd, people are going to, they're gonna have opinions about that. Trust me. But again, your job is just to move forward and find people that are open and expose them to the opportunity. Don't take it personally. Like I said, and you notice this common theme throughout this video, throughout these four things. It says a lot more about them and their situation than it does about you. So do not take it personally. One a resource that we have that's a wonderful resource is listen to Making the Shift. It's a CD that came with your Fast Track Collector's Kit by a guy named Darren Hardy, who's the publisher of Success Magazine, and he talks about what we're talking about here, about making the shift from an employee to an entrepreneur, and some of the things to expect that are going to happen. And I'm telling you, the rewards on the other side are well worth it. Congratulations for making it through this video. I know some of these things can be a little tough to hear, but it's necessary that you learn this stuff. It's necessary that your team members learn this stuff, for when they encounter some of these things, they don't take it personally, and they don't think that, oh, there must be something wrong with me or wrong with what I'm doing because of these things. And you'll see it as just stepping stones to the promised land. These are just things that you're going to encounter on your way to the top in this business. Some of them are, may seem frustrating, and they are frustrating. But what's the alternative? Would you rather be frustrated by somebody telling you that they're going to watch a presentation and then not do it? And I'm telling you through personal experience, it's a frustrating thing. It's not fun when something like that happens. But I would much rather experience that frustration than the frustration that people are experiencing right now in their financial lives. People that are in their 60s and 70s, not sure how they're going to be able to retire or how they're going to be able to feed their family. I would much rather experience the frustration that we're talking about here than that kind of frustration. People are drowning out there. It's a fact. There's crazy things that are happening to people's lives, and unless they do something about it, they're going to have a very, very difficult road ahead. And you have the solution. You can help those people, but you can only help them if they swallow their own pride and they have an open mind, and they actually see it and have the desire to actually change. Think about the alternative, because you're going to deal with frustration in life. Would you rather deal with this type of frustration, or the frustration of possibly being in a situation where you're not sure how you're going to be able to where the next paycheck is coming from? There are people right now that are losing jobs. They're getting laid off from a company, and they're going to apply for jobs at a company that just laid off 30,000 employees. Now, what sense does that make? I mean, I don't want to get too preachy here, but I mean, you're going to have to deal with frustration in life. You're going to have to either deal with the frustration of this, or being a slave to a job or a career. Not being able to take vacations, having to ask permission to take your kids to the dentist. That's a frustration that I don't want to deal with. What about regret? What about the frustration of regret? Now, I can't remember who said this, but I think it might have been Jim Rohn. He said, you're either going to pay the price of discipline or pay the price of regret. I would much rather pay the price of discipline and deal with this than pay the price of regret and saying, man, what could have been? What if I would have, taken? I really wish that I didn't quit that opportunity. That I I could have changed my life and my financial situation for my entire, for the future of my family, and leave that financial legacy. You're going to experience frustration in life. You're either going to deal with this kind of frustration, or the frustration that millions of people are facing right now in America and around the world, which is uncertainty, poverty, regret. It's either deal with this, or deal with that. The choice is yours. Thank you for watching this video, and I want to share with you one last thing. And this came again from the Tim Sales training that I mentioned at the beginning of this video. Act the way you want to feel until you feel the way you want to act. So act the way you want to feel until you feel the way that you want to act. And create that vision of what your life is going to look like. Create that picture of what you want to do with your life, the charities or the causes that you want to support, the companies that you want to support, the house that you want to live in, the experiences that you want to have in life. Get really clear on that and put yourself into that position. Let that vision of your future, let that drive you. And these things that we're talking about here, these roadblocks, these landmines, will not even phase you, because you are on this mission to improve your own life, to help other people improve theirs. And I'm proud of you. I'm happy for you. I'm really looking forward to taking the journey with you, my friend. My name is Adam Chandler, and thank you so much for watching this video, and enjoy the next video. Have a great day.